I've apparently made a friend. I don't know what this guy's doing. Giving himself a dust bath or something. He doesn't seem to mind me too much, though. Hi, Crow. Hello. So we are going to do a little bit of chainsawing this morning. I already started taking this tree here. I cut it in half, so the rest of it's down here. And so we're going to continue bucking this tree and getting as much of it as we can. This is our walking path, and there's actually another tree. Yes, Crow, I hear you. There's also another tree, which is here, and it's laying all the way across our path. I don't know if I'll get to this tree today. It depends on how I feel, but yeah, that's what we'll be working on. Okay, so which one do I loosen up first? Both of them?
Yeah. Are you filming?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that works. The easiest way is to position it so you're pushing down, just, you know, for comfort. And you can use your body weight to loosen them a bit.
Okay, and then I have to do what?
Well, you're going to need to take those right off because the chain has jumped right out of the guide.
So right off, right off?
Yeah, right all the way off. You're not going to get that chain back in without removing that cover and loosening the bar.
Careful you don't lose the nuts.
There's that.
Oh, hang on. In my back pocket. Got this teeny tiny, smallest little back pocket.
Oh, big enough for later.
Big enough for later. Oh, good.
Okay, now what? Pop this off? Okay, and now what?
Alright, so now you should be able to see. Yeah, it's jumped right out all the way to here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to have to pull it off, which means you pull it that way, wiggle it, and then it'll come loose. Okay, now the chain goes back into the guide.
Oh.
And the real trick here is to get the hole through that pin. Once you've done that, everything,
what pin? Through this one?
see, this little tiny pin here
Oh.
has to come through the hole. And you can't see the pin because it's behind the bar.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're trying to fiddle it on, it's tricky. Okay, don't worry about that stuff too much. I clean that up periodically, but right now we're not going to do that. We're just trying to get it running. So this is in the sprocket properly. Back here, that's what you check for. Make sure this is in the guide. And guess what? Now it turns.
Yeah.
All right, so the trick is, if you actually fully let go of this, it might stay. But if you touch anything, it'll come loose.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is kind of keep a hand on it,
Yep.
and then put it back together. Just keep a finger on it or whatever. You,
Like just put the nuts back in?
well, no, you have to put the cover back on, and then the nuts. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, put the nuts on.
Does it, I guess it doesn't matter which one goes on.
No, they're the same, and it doesn't matter which way they go on either, as far as I know. They're the same on either side. You don't have to tighten them too much by hand. You want to get them, you know, a little snugged up kind of thing. Not snug enough. You still want this to wiggle a bit, which it is right now. Okay. Okay. So before you, okay, you can let go of that now. It shouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So before you tighten these, You do this, and you see, oh look.
Yeah.
So do that, snug up the chain,
And which one
you
do
lift,
I push?
you don't push
Well,
anything,
turn.
you use this in
Oh.
here. Right in there, there's a screw for the slot. And just keep your eye, you don't want to make the chain too tight. See how it comes up?
Yeah.
Okay, not too tight. Now, just set the tool down, keep holding, no, keep holding the bar up. Try moving the chain just to make sure it moves freely while you still hold the bar up. Okay. There can be a bit of resistance, but not a lot. All right, keep holding the bar up and tighten the two nuts. That's the real trick, is you have to hold the bar up while you tighten the nuts.
Is it still okay if like it's a bit loose down here?
Well, could be a bit tighter. That's probably good. Okay.
And then
Tighten it
holding it?
while you're holding that up, yeah. Usually,
do I tighten which one first?
doesn't matter.
Whichever one.
You know, don't reef one tight and then tighten the other one. Get one snug and then get the other snug. Then give a couple turns to one and a couple turns to the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, do them one bit of one, a bit of the other, back and forth. Okay, so again, the trick here to make this easier, now that you're at the point of snugging, is to put it on this way, and then you just need to push down. Okay?
I don't want to push too hard.
No, but like that.
Something like that.
And then the other one. Yep. Okay, so now the bar should not be loose anymore. The bar should be nice and snug. It's not going to move. You don't have to hold that anymore. Now you can just have the other hand free. Give them a good snugging up.
Ta-da! So when I'm doing work like this, I try really hard to go slow and to pay attention to my body, because if I'm starting to feel like it's getting warm out, like it's not exactly cool outside, so when I'm doing stuff like this, I make sure to pay close attention to my body and how I'm feeling and fatigue. And if I'm hungry or tired or thirsty, I make sure that I stop. That means that I get significantly less chainsawing done, of course, but I feel safer, especially because I don't have my chainsaw like chaps yet, which I'm probably gonna order today because I have the money now. So that's what I do. Another thing that I try and do is I try and make sure that my footing is clear. So when I am doing work like this by myself, if I'm doing it with another person, then one person can drag the sticks away while I chainsaw, but because I'm by myself, I just try and make sure that my footing is clear, because the last thing I want to do is trip and fall with a chainsaw. So I'll chainsaw a little bit, I'll buck a couple branches, and then I'll stack them here to be chipped, and then I'll carry on. I also tend to not do this kind of work while I'm by myself. The camera's probably picking up the noises, but my parents are, you know, in the garden and around. That way, you know, if I start screaming, then they know. I don't always chainsaw with people around. Sometimes I do chainsaw by myself. But if I am by myself, I just take extra care and make sure that I am like monitoring my body for signs of fatigue or weakness or hunger or, you know, general tiredness. And I can only chainsaw so much during the day. Well, during one day. And if it gets too hot or if I chainsaw too long, like this area that I'm working in is nice and shady, so even though it's warm, like it's still fairly cool. Because when I'm chainsawing, I have to wear more clothes. I usually do wear a long sleeve shirt, but obviously I don't do that. But I wear my jeans, and then I wear my heavy boots. They're not steel-toed, but they are heavy, and these are hiking boots that go over my ankle so that it locks my ankle in place. That way I have less chance of rolling my ankle when I'm tromping through the woods. So if I encounter a branch like this is a small tree. I'm actually going to chainsaw it right off and stack it just because it's in the way of my footing and I already stepped over it once, and I may as well just get rid of it. So then the next question is, what do we do with all these branches that I'm stacking? Well, I have a pile right here. You can't see it, it's just off camera. I'll show you folks in a second, but I make sure to stack all the branches the same way, usually with like the less tree end first, if I can. And then what we'll actually do later with these branches is we don't want to leave these here because they are a big fire hazard, right? It's basically just a pile of tinder. And so we will chip them eventually, and then we can use the wood chips from the chipper for various things. My composting toilet, as I talked about last week, but also like we use it in our chicken, not our chicken coop, but our chicken run, because our chicken run will just turn to like dust because as the chickens spend time in it, they just compost it. So another thing that I try and do, you saw me wiggling the branches on the tree a little bit, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out which branches are holding up the tree, because I really like the tree this way because it's up off the ground and it's so easy for me to just saw like sections off of it. It's so easy. So I don't want it to fall, because it'll be more difficult for me, and also I have this like maybe slightly irrational fear of getting my chainsaw chain stuck because it's not my chainsaw, it's my parents', and I'm not super confident with the chainsaw. Like, I've been chainsawing for a while, but I just try and be like really careful and like really cautious. So I try, like, if I'm going to remove a couple more branches, I try and it's easier for me to touch them and feel them and like try and move them, because if they don't move, or if the log moves, the tree moves, then chances are that's a branch that's holding up the tree. And also, like, trees are really heavy, which duh, I guess. But I didn't realize just how heavy trees are, and they're really, really dangerous. And I do not want a broken leg because a freaking tree fell on me. So I try and just go really slow and just be really cautious. And if I'm unsure of how to do a cut or whatever, I ask my stepdad, and I'm usually like, how would you do this? And then if I'm really unsure, I get him to do it for me. Ah! I'm also gonna chase on this tree. The footing over here is getting a bit dicey, which is why I'm testing stuff out, because I'm kind of running out of room, because I always want to stay out of the way of the tree. This is why I stand like beside it, and I would like to stand a step or two further back, just in case if this tree were to fall. It's probably not going to, but you never know, trees do weird things, so I'm going to have to clear this area behind me a little bit and cut some smaller trees down and, you know, grab some branches just so I have enough room. But we're doing pretty good. If I can finish processing this tree today, that would be awesome. The only reason I'm able to work this late in the day is because it's so shady here. It's super nice, and we're getting a tiny bit of a breeze. I'm just gonna go around to the other side of the tree. Yes, I know. So I'm starting to run out of space. Like, I'm starting to run out of room to work. And I can do a couple more cuts and I can clear a little bit behind me. But what I need to do is I need to get behind this tree, like to the other side, and I'll need to probably cut the log back there and then drag it out, because this area has been really nice to work, but I'm just starting to run out of room. But I want to take advantage of having the log up, because right now it's up and it's easy to cut. Okay, let me stand back a little bit. Can you see me? All of me? Good. Now I don't have to bend over. That's pretty good. I'm gonna just walk over because I still feel pretty good. Like I'm not feeling tired or overheated. Like I'm hot, but I'm not too warm. I'm not regretting this haircut, by the way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take a look off camera over at this other tree. I don't think I'm ready to start this other tree yet because it's on the ground. It's gonna be more difficult to do than this tree because this tree is like obviously off the ground, right? So it's so easy and so nice to just. So I'm gonna go take a look at some stuff off camera because I would like to finish this tree, but I may not even be able to get at the rest of this tree until we clear out the rest of it. But I'm gonna go take a look. Alright, so I've decided I'm not gonna do any more chainsawing today because I took a break and I puttered in the garden for a little bit and I am hungry, so I'm gonna go down for lunch and I gotta edit this week's YouTube video, and so yeah, I'm not gonna see you folks until next week. I will also update you folks a little bit on this crow who has been hanging out here. I think it's injured or it's a baby or both, but anyway, I will update you tomorrow. We'll check on him tomorrow. So we think that this crow up here might be Mama, who's trying to get the little baby over there to come up. I haven't even had my my tea yet. I've been burning the wood stove, not every day, but maybe every couple of days or so if it's chilly. So we had that stretch of like 30-degree weather that I obviously wasn't using my wood stove at all. But now it's more getting down to like seasonal temperatures. Most other folks around here that have wood stoves have stopped using their wood stove a long time ago. Because if they burn their wood stove right now, it's way too warm, right? So a lot of them rely on electric heat right now, rather than their wood stove, or they just rely on the goings-ons in their house to keep their house warm. Now I don't have a shower in here. It's a dry cabin. Hey, so there's no shower to heat everything up, but there's also no shower to keep everything like moist either, which is nice, because as it's raining outside, I've been getting more moisture in here. Because I don't have a lot of those things that like typically keep a house warm, like I can use my toaster oven and it will warm things up by a degree or two, but it's about 15 degrees in the tiny house this morning, which is a little bit chilly. And so the wood stove will help to warm it right up. Now the nice thing about having a wood stove, or having a tiny wood stove I should say, is remember how a while ago I was sort of talking about that the burn times are just not very long? Well, on the shoulder season, that becomes a really huge advantage because, I mean, I'm not going to run this wood stove for any more than probably about an hour. And I usually will keep a couple windows open while I'm doing it. So it is really nice to have, it is really nice to have the tiny wood stove that will only burn for about an hour or so, because that's about how much time I need it to run. I will also do things like I will use some smaller logs. Like I'll use something like this that's fairly small, and the smaller logs help to keep the burn time down, because if I use larger logs, something like this, or I have another really large log in here that's really too large for my wood stove, but something like this, then that extends my burn time right now well beyond what I want, because I only want to burn for about an hour. Just enough to like warm everything up, dry everything out, and do all that.